Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be going through the 5.4 Ready, Set, Go notes. And the good news is this is a really quick section. So in this section, we're still going to be graphing linear equations, so graphing lines, but these equations are going to look a little bit different. So just as a quick review, so far we've learned three forms for linear equations. One of them is going to be slope-intercept form, which we should all recognize is y equals mx plus b. We have point slope form, which we know is y equals m times x minus x1 plus y1. And then the last one we have, let's see if I can squeeze it in, is called standard form. Draw a line here. And we know that's ax plus by equals c. So those are the three forms of linear equations we've worked with so far. So if you'll notice on this page, these equations look a little bit different here. In all of our linear equations before, we had a y and an x, a y and an x, and a y and an x. But now you'll see we just have x or we just have y. So we need to learn how to graph these types of equations. So let's look at the first one. Our equation is x equals -1. And we're going to start by graphing that using a table. So what our equation tells us is that x, the x coordinate of our point, is always going to be -1. So no matter what point we look at, our x coordinate is going to be -1. And y could be any value. So I could have y is -2, I could have y is 0, and I could do 4 here. So the only thing they're telling us that has to be true is that x is -1. So let's go ahead and plot these points, right? This first one would be -1, -2. So if I plot that, it means I'm going to go to the left one and down 2. There's -1, -2. -1, 0 tells me to go left 1 and then stop. And then -1, 4 says left 1 and up 4. So now I've got 3 points, and if I connect those, we'll see we get this line here. So the idea here is that equations that only have an x variable, those are going to be vertical lines. So if I only have an x variable, it's going to be a vertical line, and it's going to go through the x value in that equation. Now, on my second equation here, I'll pick a different color. This is y is equal to 4 is my equation. So in this case, they're telling me that y has to be 4. No matter what the x coordinate is, my y value is 4. So just like before, I could pick any x value now that's not specified in my rule. So x could be, let's see, -3, it could be 1, and it could be 5. So now again, I have 3 points to graph, right? My first one is -3, 4. So that's 1, 2, 3 to the left and up 4 is -3, 4. 1, 4 tells me go over 1, up 4. And 5, 4, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right and up 4. So y equals 4 is the line then that looks like this. So now we can see that equations that only have a y variable, those will be horizontal lines. And again, it was y equals 4, so it's the horizontal line that goes through 4 on the y-axis. So what you'll be asked to do, part of what you'll be asked to do in the practice is to graph horizontal and vertical lines. Then the only other piece of this that we need to be able to do is to be able to write the equations of these lines. So if you're given a graph, write the equation. So if I look at this first one here, whoops, sorry about that. If I look at the first one here, the first thing I notice is that this is a vertical line because it goes straight up and down. And what we saw up here is that equations that only have an x variable will be vertical lines. So since this is vertical, that tells me the only variable in my equation is x. So we have x equals. Now, because this goes through 3 on the x-axis, that tells me my equation will be x equals 3. For my second example here, I can see I have a horizontal line in this case. We saw above that equations that have a y variable are horizontal lines, so this is y equals. And now for my value, if I go down 1, 2, this is at -3 here on the y-axis, so my equation is y equals -3. So that's really all there is to it for today, just being able to graph these special equations of lines for horizontal and vertical lines. So you have 6 problems for practice. I want you to try those and let me know if you have any questions when you do that work. Thanks for watching.